Hello, good afternoon everyone. Last meeting, diniscuss natin yung Newton's three laws of motion. Okay, at tinignan natin kung ano yung um, laws of motion. Tinignan natin isa-isa kung ano yung mga laws of motion at dinescribe kung ano yung mga assumptions, implications ng laws of motion na yun at kung paano siya pwedeng gamitin. Okay, to describe yung motion ng objects. Okay. Uh, in this meeting, ang gagawin natin ay i-apply natin itong laws of motion na to sa iba't ibang mga systems, physical systems. If you go to the reference materials, okay, makikita ninyo na specifically yung Young and Friedman, makikita ninyo na yung examples or yung chapter 5 ay punong-puno ng examples. Okay, more than yung mga explanations. Okay, and the reason for that is because yung examples na ito, mula sa mga examples na ito, makikita nyo kung paano gagamitin yung Newton's laws of motion. Hindi natin i-discuss kung ano yung mga examples na yun. Instead, I'm going to let you go through them, okay, one by one. Okay, and then towards the end of this or in this video lesson, ang gagawin lang natin is bigyan ko kayo ng summary kung ano yung kung paano gagamitin yung Newton's laws of motion. Bigay ako ng konting description about friction, and then magbibigay din ako ng mga 5 examples from the end of the chapter, okay, dun sa ating reference material that is different from yung mga examples na nasa book. So again, basahin niyo yung mga examples sa book, and then panoorin niyo yung examples na i-discuss natin ngayong araw. Okay, so to begin with, how do we apply Newton's laws of motion? Okay, so ang una natin gagawin, di ba, tulad nung describe natin before, is start with what we know. Okay, so start with what we know. Diba? Identify niyo yung given quantities, okay, list them down, and tignan niyo rin kung ano yung mga quantities na hindi ganun ka obvious. Okay? Yung second, okay, you draw or identify lahat ng mga forces. Sorry. Identify all forces acting on a particular object or on each of the bodies. Okay? In some examples, makikita nyo na isang object lang yung discuss. So, kailangan nyo identify yung objects na yun, ay yung forces acting on that object. But in other examples, there are more than one objects, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. So, pag ganun yung case, you have to identify kung ano yung forces acting on each of the objects. Okay? And then set up yung equations of motion. Okay? And then solve mo yung unknown na quantity. So again, separate, magkakaiba yung, so meron kayong, i-treat nyo separately, independently yung bawat objects sa isa't isa. Okay, once you identify the forces acting on each of the objects, what you're going to do is to draw a free body diagram, okay, or an FBD. Okay, now crucial sa pag-develop na equations of motion is itong free body diagram. Okay, hindi nyo makukuha ang equations of motion without a free body diagram. So parati kong hahanapin sa inyong solution yung free body diagram na ito. Okay, and tulad nung diniscuss natin sa last meeting, okay, meron namang typical forces, okay, like yung weight na hindi nawawala as long as nasa surface ka ng Earth. Okay, then yung normal force when an object is in contact with the surface, yung friction, okay, na nandiyan pag tawag dito, pag meron ding pag yung object ay in contact din with the surface, and then tension kung meron kayong some sort of a string or something similar na naka-attach dun sa object. Okay, then of course sa mga ibang examples may mga specific na forces na involve, okay, na particular lang dun sa ano na yun, sa system na yun. Okay, and all of those forces, okay, have to be drawn on the free body diagram. Okay, now when you draw a free body diagram, of course ang pag-drawing is that i-draw niyo yung object. Okay, hindi naman importante kung gaano yung kaganda. Ang importante is once you've drawn a free body diagram, susunod yung gagawin ay ilagay niyo yung okay, coordinate system or choose a coordinate system. Okay. Okay, draw a coordinate system kung saan i-refer niyo yung free body diagram na yun. Okay, well, I think mauna muna yung coordinate system at saka yung free body diagram. Pwede namang sabay. Okay, so yan yung next step. Once you draw a coordinate system, okay, then pwede nyo nang gamitin yung laws of motion ni Newton. Ang often used na law is yung second law of motion. Okay, but we can still apply yung third law at saka yung first law of motion, okay, when we analyze yung mga forces na involved, okay, dun sa iba't ibang dun sa mga sa isang particular system. So use Newton's law of motion, okay, and solve for the unknown. Okay, and to solve for the unknown, this is basically mathematics. Okay, dito na papasok yung trigonometry and geometry, and in some cases, in special cases, gagamit din kayo ng calculus. Okay, now may mga peculiarities na involve sa mga steps na ito. Like for example, yung pag-draw ng coordinate system. Okay, hindi pa na-explain dun sa previous na meeting, but in some systems, kailangan yung i-draw yung coordinate system, okay, na medyo rotated. So, ibig sabihin naka-rotate yung coordinate system na yun. And the reason for that is to minimize or to make yung mathematical computation much more convenient. Okay, at makikita natin yun mamaya sa mga examples na i-discuss natin. Okay, so ito yung mga steps, okay, na sinusundan natin. Okay, syempre, start with what we know, identify all the forces acting on a particular object on each of the bodies. Then mag-drawing kayo ng coordinate system, tapos free body diagram, i-refer nyo dun sa coordinate system na yun. And then gagamitin nyo ngayon yung Newton's laws of motion to solve for the unknown. Okay? Okay. Now, itong pinapakita dito sa slide na ito, okay, ay yung example 5.1 at saka example 5.2 sa Young and Friedman. Okay, dito sa mga examples na ito, okay, ang makikita nyo rito ay well, particularly gymnast, okay, with mass mg equal to 50 kilograms, and sinuspend niya yung sarili niya from the lower end of a hanging rope of negligible mass. Okay, so sabi rito, the upper end of the rope is attached to a gymnasium ceiling. Tapos tinatanong ko ano yung weight and so on and so forth. Okay, so may mga questions na involved. So, just to show you, okay, kung paano yung approach dito, okay, first of all, identify niyo lahat nung di ba, nung forces na involved, okay, or start with what you know, di ba? So meron kang mass, okay, and then she suspends herself from the lower end, okay, from the lower end of a hanging rope, okay, and yung mass ng rope is negligible. the upper end of the rope, okay, is attached to the gymnasium ceiling. So pinapahanap dito yung weight ng gymnast, okay, force, magnitude, and direction, okay, nung rope, ina-exert ng rope sa kanya, and yung tension dun sa rope, okay. The next step is to identify yung forces. So ang sabi rito, yung forces na involved, okay, ay yung weight, okay, and yung force, okay, or yung tension specifically. So once you know that, pwede na kayo mag-drawing ng free body diagram, at ito yung makikita niyo dito. Okay, free body diagram for the gymnast. Now, yung gymnast na ito, okay, ay hanging on the rope. So ibig sabihin, merong tension, okay, merong tension na ina-exert yung rope on the gymnast. Okay? And then yung rope naman, okay, dun sa upper part, okay, ay nakakaramdam din ng tension dun sa ceiling. So hinihila siya ng ceiling pataas. Okay, so we can consider two bodies dito. Okay? So yung gymnast and yung rope. Okay, so sa gymnast, dalawa yung forces na nag-act. Yung weight niya, okay, at saka yung tension ng rope. Okay, yung paghila ng rope dun sa gymnast. Yung pangalawang body dito ay yung rope. Yung rope, okay, ay hinihila pataas nung ceiling. At yung tawag dito, then hinihila din siya pababa nung gymnast. Okay? Sabi rito na negligible yung mass niya, so ignore natin yung weight nung rope. Okay? Now, how do we connect itong objects na ito sa isa't isa? Okay, so itong quantities na ito sa isa't isa. So we connect it, okay, using Newton's third law of motion. Pansin nyo rito na ito yung tension on the gymnast by the rope, and ito naman yung tension on the rope by the gymnast. And these are action-reaction pairs. So by using Newton's third law of motion, then we can say na ito at saka ito, okay, ay related sa isa't isa. Okay, so that's just a preview. For the full solution, tignan nyo dun sa example 5.1. Now, what I wanted to show you here, okay, is that kung isasama na natin yung weight ng rope, makikita ninyo, okay, sorry, makikita ninyo na madaragdag na itong quantity na ito. Okay, yeah, yung quantity na yan. So, kanina, wala kang weight ng rope dito, pero ngayon, meron ka na nung weight ng rope. So, effectively, ganito na yung magiging free body diagram after using yung third law of motion ni Newton. This is example 5.2. So, ipag-aralan niyo yung example na yan in detail dun sa book. Now, the next example dito is isang engine, okay, na hinihila, okay, pataas, okay, ng rope system na ito. Okay, so dito ang example na to is about yung tension, okay, that is experienced by the anong tawag dito, by that is exerted on the engine. Okay, and yung example na ito, dito sa example na ito, makikita nyo na yung rope already has an angle. Okay, hindi na katulad kanina na medyo tawag dito medyo vertical lang, di ba? Along the vertical axis. Dito, meron ng angle. Okay, so ibig sabihin magkakaroon kayo ngayon ng dalawang dalawang axis. Isang x-axis, okay, at isang y-axis. And kung papansin nyo, dito sa Cartesian coordinate system na yan, dinrowing yung tension na ito, yung T3, yung T2 dito dinrowing, at yung T1 dito naman dinrowing. Okay? Ang object na tinitignan natin dyan ay kinoconsider ay itong yung ring na yan. Okay? So, yan yung free body diagram that is exerted on the ring. Similarly, dito sa next example, example 5.4, okay, yung tension dito is also tilted. Okay? It has an angle of alpha with respect to the horizontal. At ito yung mapapansin ninyo. Yung tension is directed along the rope or along the chain. Yung normal force, tulad ng sinabi natin before, is always perpendicular sa surface. Ito yung surface kung saan nakapatong yung kotse, which means na ang normal force ay perpendicular sa surface na yan. So na-rotate, di ba? So na-rotate yung surface. Okay? But kung titignan niyo mabuti, yung weight is directed, always directed downwards. Okay? So ngayon meron kayong tatlong forces, okay, na dalawa doon ay rotated at yung isa ay vertically downward. Okay? Now, kung titignan niyo, piniling coordinate system dito is tilted. Okay? Bakit tilted yung coordinate system diyan? Kasi if you use second law of motion, so pag nag-sum ka ng forces along the x-axis, you have T, yung tension, okay? And then yung component, okay, nung weight along the x-axis, okay? W sine alpha, yan yun. Okay, and then along the y-axis naman, yung normal force, and then yung component nung weight along the, tawag dito, along the y-axis. Okay, in contrast, okay, so let's do the case na kung saan, okay, ganito yung axis. Okay, so limbawa, ganyan yung axis na pinili natin. So ito yung positive x, ito yung positive y. Anong mangyayari dito ngayon? Okay, ang mangyayari dyan ngayon is, yung pag nag-sum tayo ng forces along the x-axis, okay, kukunin natin yung component ng tension, okay, along the x-axis. So that's T cosine alpha. Okay? And then, kukunin din natin yung component ng normal force along the x-axis. Okay, so minus T minus N. So ito yung alpha and then ito yung, anong tawag dito? This will be sine. So sine alpha. Okay, tapos meron pa ba? So wala na. Along the y-axis, we have yung component ng tension along the y-axis. So T sine alpha minus component ng normal force along the y-axis. So plus and cosine alpha and then minus W. So kung mapapansin nyo, kailangan, if we did not tilt yung coordinate system, okay, kung hindi natin tinilt yung coordinate system, then we needed to get yung components ng tension at yung normal force. Okay, para ilapat dun sa coordinate system, para magamit natin yung Newton's second law of motion. On the other hand, if we tilt yung coordinate system, yung weight lang, isang force lang yung tawag dito yung pinagagamitan natin ng trigonometry. Okay, yung dalawa, okay, automatic na kasi na nandun sa coordinate system. So you choose a coordinate system, okay, in such a way, or you choose the orientation of the coordinate system in such a way na mami-minimize yung pagkuha ng mga components nung forces. Okay? So kaya natin tinitilt yan. Now, dito sa first 4 examples, okay, lahat ng mga objects dito ay stationary. Or, in other words, pag sinum nyo lahat ng forces, okay, yan ay 0. So, in other words, in equilibrium yung buong system. So, pag nag-sum ka ng forces along the x-axis, 0 yan. And pag nag-sum ka ng forces along the y-axis, 0 din yan. Kasi wala in equilibrium along the x-axis tsaka along the y-axis. So walang motion along the x. Wala acceleration specifically along the x tsaka along the y-axis. Okay. So ibig sabihin ito ay magiging equal to 0. Ito ay equal to 0. Tapos ito ay equal to 0 din. At ito ay equal to 0. Now, even though magkaiba yung axis dito, they should give you the same result. I also skipped kung paano nakuha yung kung paano nakuha yung T cosine alpha na component and N sine alpha na component. Okay, I suggest na basahin niyo yung book, okay, at i-apply niyo yung at tignan niyo yung mga examples na nandito. tignan nyo kung ma-figure out nyo yung trigonometry kasi it's just a basic trigonometry. But in the examples na i-discuss ko mamaya, I'll try to explain kung paano nakuha yung mga components dun sa examples. Okay. Okay. Again, if you have questions, okay, feel free to, ang tawag dito, feel free to just mention kung anong timestamp at saka kung ano yung tawag dito, anong slide, take a screen capture of the slide. Okay, and then you post your question. Okay, if you can draw on yung screen capture para mas maging clear sa akin yung question niyo, then that's even better. Okay? Okay. Now, there are cases na kung saan yung system ay hindi in equilibrium. Okay, in other words, pag nag-sum ka ng forces pag nag-sum ka ng forces, okay, equal siya sa mass times acceleration. Okay? Okay, equal siya sa mass times acceleration. It could be na yung sum ng forces along the x-axis, okay, ay may acceleration. Okay, pero pwede ring in equilibrium ang x-axis lang. It could be na yung y-axis, okay, ay hindi in equilibrium, pero pwede ring in equilibrium. Makikita natin yan mamaya. Mga examples na zero yung sum ng forces along the x-axis or zero yung sum ng forces along the y-axis. While the other ay hindi naman ay non-zero kasi merong acceleration. Okay, the thing that's tawag dito really parang isa sa mga difficulties ng mga students is to figure out kung ano ba tong acceleration na ito? Ano ba tong sum ng forces na ito? Well, think of it this way. Kung saan pumunta yung object, okay, yun yung result ng lahat ng forces na nag-act dun sa object na yun. Okay, so yung net motion niya is because of the sum of all the forces. So pag sinabi na nag-move along the x-axis yung net na motion niya, tumakbo siya towards the horizontal, yun yung net motion. Okay, ibig sabihin, yun yung acceleration na kinoconsider niyo. Okay, pag sinabi na tumalon siya, okay, then ang net motion niya is acceleration na upward. Okay? And yung individual forces ay yung weight, okay, at yung tawag dito, pwedeng weight lang, pwedeng ibang force na nag-cause sa kanya na tumalon at a specific instant. Okay? So, dito sa figure 5.6, okay, ang isang example dito is meron kang apple na nalalaglag. Okay? Okay, ang apple na ito ay habang nalalaglag siya, only the force of gravity is acting on the apple. So, iisa lang yung force na nag-act on the apple. At yung force na yun ay yung weight niya. So, yun yung nakikita niyo dito, yung weight. Okay? Now, pag sinam niyo lahat ng forces along the y-axis, ilalagay niyo ngayon negative W. Bakit negative W? Kasi yung positive y-axis ay pataas. Okay? So, dahil yung weight ay nakaturo pababa, okay, lalagay kayo ng negative sign dyan, negative W. Ano yung net motion niya? Ang net motion niya ay pababa. So, equal ngayon to sa mass times acceleration along the y-axis. Okay? Now, dadagdag lang ako dito ng negative sign, mass times acceleration along the y-axis. Bakit? Kasi alam ko na nag-accelerate siya downward. Okay, so nag-accelerate siya downward, so naglagay ako ng negative sign dito. Now, ang common mistake ng mga estudyante is pag nag-sum ng forces, ang ginagawa nila is negative W minus MAY equals 0. Okay. It may be mathematically correct, but the physics is incorrect. Okay, and remember, this is a physics course. Yung interpretation nito at nito, okay, are totally different. And if I see that sa mga solutions ninyo, alam ko na merong kayong pagkukulang pagdating sa pag-intindi okay, dun sa physics ng system. Okay? Okay. Now, dito naman sa isang example na ito rin yung isa sa mga problematic. Ano? Okay, ang motion dito is circular. Okay, so umiikot yung object. Okay, and alam natin na yung tawag dito yung net force. Okay. O alam natin na merong reason kung bakit siya circular kasi may force na humila sa kanya towards the center, di ba? So yung pag nag-sum tayo ng forces in this case along the y-axis, so meron tayong F. Okay? So sum ng forces along the x-axis along the y-axis is equal to F. Okay, and since wala naman na ibang forces, then yung net motion niya is yung radial na motion. Okay, kaya dito, yung net motion is mass times yung radial na acceleration. So equal yan sa F equals mv squared over r. Now, ang ilan sa mga common mistakes na ginagawa ng mga students is pag nag-sum ng forces along the y-axis, ang ginagawa nila is F and then minus mv squared over r is equal to 0. First of all, pag sinabi niyong 0 yan, in-imply nyo na ito ay inequilibrium, which is incorrect. The fact na umiikot siya already tells us na, okay, the fact that it's changing direction already tells us na, anong tawag dito? Merong acceleration. Of course, you have you can consider constant speed, di ba? Pero nagbabago siya ng direction, so you have acceleration. So this is, if you set it up this way, okay, then this is correct. Secondly, ang motion niya dito is circular. So dapat ito yung kanyang net motion. Okay, yan yung motion niya as a result of all the forces acting on the object. Okay? And turns out na isa lang naman yung force na nag-act dito. And so yung force na yun is already equivalent to the radial force. Okay? Okay. So iwasan niyo yung mga mistakes na yan. And yun actually yung mga difficulties ng mga students ay sa pag-interpret ng system. Okay. Okay. So, okay, one of the forces na tawag dito, kailangan natin i-discuss in a little bit more detail ay friction. Okay. Bakit kailangan natin i-discuss ito ng a bit more detail? Well, there are basically two types of friction. Okay, kinetic friction and static frictional force. Ang typical na frictional force ay kinetic kasi kung meron kang object, okay, tulad dito may object ka, okay, that is on the surface and you apply a force on the object, okay? Okay, so mangyayari is nagmo-move yung object relative sa floor. Okay? So yung type ng friction na involved dyan ay kinetic frictional force. So you have kinetic frictional force if the objects move relative to each other. Okay? Okay. Secondly, yung friction is always opposite in direction to the net motion. Okay, tandaan nyo ito kung ano yung motion niya, net motion niya, dun sa opposite direction yung friction nakaturo. Okay? Okay. Next. So ito yung nangyayari. Bakit ba may friction? Kasi hindi naman talaga smooth yung surface, okay, between objects, di ba? And yung mga maliliit na irregularities niyan sa surface na yan causes itong friction ito. Okay, and to describe friction, okay, we relate it to the normal force. Okay, ano ba yung normal force? Normal force is the force that is exerted by the floor, okay, on the object. Yan yung normal force. Okay? And makikita nyo na yung friction always exists pag yung object ay in contact with the surface. And so does the normal force. Then, ibig sabihin, related sila sa isa't isa. Okay, ang relationship ng friction at ng normal force, okay, is through this quantity mu na tinatawag nating coefficient of friction. So normal force, okay, and then friction. Okay, and then if you have kinetic frictional force, dito ko nalalagay, then we use a subscript K. And for static frictional force, na i-discuss natin sa next slide, we use a subscript of S. Okay? Now, itong mu na ito, okay, is always, okay, between 0 and 1. You can never have a coefficient of friction that is greater than 1. It implies na yung frictional force, pag mu is greater than 1, it implies na yung frictional force is greater than the normal force, which shouldn't be the case. Kasi bakit ka ba may friction in the first place? Kasi meron kang normal force. So you cannot have a force that is greater than yung normal force na yun. Okay? Okay, so ito yung mga iba't ibang examples ng coefficient, or iba't ibang values ng coefficient of static and kinetic friction. For example, steel on steel, 0.74 yung static and 0.57 yung kinetic frictional forces, coefficient of frictional forces. Rubber on concrete, okay, so ito 1, okay, pag static, and ito ay 0.8 pag kinetic. Rubber on concrete is 0.3 pag basa, 0.25 pag kinetic. So the smaller the value of the coefficient of friction, ibig sabihin mas less yung frictional force. So mas magiging madulas yung tawag dito yung object. Yung object relative dun sa surface. Mapapansin niyo rin, okay, copper on cast iron is greater than that. Pero hindi yan yung point ko. Papansin niyo rin na yung coefficient of static frictional force is always greater, okay, than the coefficient of kinetic frictional force. Okay, bakit ganun? Ano ba yung static frictional force in the first place? Okay, babalikan natin. Ang static frictional force is kapag walang relative motion, okay, sa isa't isa, yung object at saka yung surface, okay, then you have static frictional force. Imagine niyo itong block na ito. Okay, tapos dahan-dahan natin i-increase yung angle niya. Okay, so increase natin yung angle niyan. Habang ini-increase niyo yung angle niyan, okay, so habang ini-increase niyo yung angle, okay, hindi pa magsa-slide yung yung object. And the reason kung ba't di siya nagsa-slide ay dahil dun sa static frictional force. Okay? Now, once you reach a certain angle, okay, yung static, tawag dito, magsisimula na siya mag-slide. And pag nag-move na yung object, then you are talking about kinetic frictional force naman. So, static frictional force, di ba? Force, okay, the friction that is involved when there's no relative motion, hindi gumagalaw yung object with respect to the surface. Pero once na ma-exceed na yung angle na yun, then yung kinetic friction takes over. Tapos, anong tawag dito? Nagsaslide na yung object, pero it still experiences friction, and that friction is kinetic friction. And papansin nyo, it takes a lot of force more than kinetic frictional force. It takes a lot of static frictional force para pasimulang slide yung object. Okay. Once na nagsisimula na siyang gumalaw, it only takes a small amount of force para pa-slide yung object. And yun yung rason kung bakit mas malaki yung static frictional force kaysa kinetic frictional force. Because it's once the object is moving, then mas madali na siyang gumalaw on its own. So you don't need that much kinetic, you don't need that much force para pagalawin yung object. Okay? Okay. One example na na tawag dito na ginagamit. Common example na ginagamit dito ay yung pag yung gulong ng kotse. Okay, so limbawa ito yung gulong ng kotse. Okay? Ay umaandar sa surface. Okay? So pag umikot yung ano na yan, yung gulong na yan, syempre mag-move forward yung kotse in this direction. Okay? Typically, well, ang isa sa mga tinatanong dito is this static or kinetic frictional force. Okay? So, this is static frictional force. Bakit? Kasi itong point na to ng tire is in contact with the road. Okay? And relative sa isa't isa, hindi sila gumagalaw. Once the wheel rotates, okay, so limbawa, nag-rotate na siya somewhere here, andyan na yung kotse. Okay? Ganun pa rin yung motion niya. Ngayon yung point na yan, nasa na tong point na ito. Yung point na yan will be somewhere here. And there's a new point that is in contact with the surface. And that point, okay, relative to the surface, is not moving. Okay? On the other hand, so this is rolling, di ba? Pag nagro-roll. On the other hand, pag nagsiskid, okay, so limbawa yung gulong ay nagsiskid, okay, apakan mo yung preno, tapos lapat mo yung acceleration, iikot lang yung gulong, di ba? So yung gulong na yan ay umiikot na ganyan. So relative dun sa point dun sa surface na kung saan in contact yung gulong, okay, nagmo-move yung gulong. Okay, so in this case, this is kinetic frictional force. Dito, static frictional force. Okay. Okay. Then one last thing, pag umiikot naman yung kotse. So how do we treat yung ganong klaseng mga systems? So dito sa example sa left, okay, merong kotse na umiikot on a flat surface. Doon naman sa right, merong kotse na umiikot on a banked surface. Okay, on a flat surface, okay, yung forces na involved dito ay yung normal force. Okay, sige. Yung normal force, okay? So that's the force exerted by the road on the car. Yung weight, that's the force exerted by gravity on the car. And then, of course, yung friction. Saan yung friction directed? Remember, without friction, pag walang friction, saan pupunta yung kotse? It will veer outward. Pag ganyan, sa direction na yan. Okay, so kailangan mo yung friction in the opposite direction. Dito, sa direction na ito. Okay, para hindi siya mag-move, okay, sa direction na ito. Okay, para hindi siya mag-veer away from the circle. Okay, so that's why we have this free body diagram. Ganyan dinawin yung free body diagram. Now, pag banked yung surface, okay, in other words, yung road ay merong angle na beta, okay, with respect to the horizontal. Okay, and then, mapapansin nyo na yung normal force, okay, is also tilted. Okay? Yung weight ay parating nakaturo pababa, di ba? Hindi naman nagbabago ang direksyon niya, parating pababa ang weight. Okay? And ano na ngayon yung anong tawag dito? Yung friction dito. Saan ba yung friction dito? Well, the reason kung bakit banked yung surface is that gusto mong gusto mong tanggalin yung effects ng friction. Bakit mo gustong gawin yan? Kasi friction causes the tires to thin out, okay, after long use. So gusto mo i-minimize yung friction dun sa tires para mag-last longer yung mga tires mo. So that's why you bank the road. So wala ka ng friction dito. Anyway, pag binasa niyo naman yung problem, makikita niyo na so that no friction is needed, okay, to maintain the car's turning radius. So hindi niyo include yung friction. Okay? So in this case, okay, in both cases, yung net motion nila, okay, ay paikot. Okay? So yung net motion along the x-axis, okay, ay radial. So mv squared over r. In both cases yan. Okay? But in this case, okay, walang component yung normal force dun sa radial motion. Pero sa case naman na to, merong component yung normal force, okay, dun sa radial na, sa net na motion niya. Okay? So, yun yung difference ng dalawa na to. Okay? Again, hindi ko di-discuss yung details ng solution. Basahin niyo yung details ng solution sa book. And if you have questions, okay, just write them down and then send me your questions via email. And I'll answer as soon as possible. Okay. Okay, and then isa pang typical na example is this. Okay, meron kang ball, okay, na pinapaikot mo. Okay, pinapaikot mo sa ibabaw ng ulo. Okay? So, bakit hindi tumatalsik yung bola? Kasi mayroong string na humihila dun sa bola pabalik dun sa center. Okay? Yan yung tension. Kaya dito mayroong tensile na force. Okay? And tawag dito. Then you have, of course, yung weight yung bola na nag-act. Na parating present, di ba? Yung weight is always present. So we have an acceleration. Okay, in this case, meron kang acceleration, okay, as a result of yung weight at saka yung tension. So yung net acceleration is not purely radial. Okay, so ito yung mga problems. Okay, mga typical na problems na makikita nyo. Ito yung mga problems na diniscuss din dun sa mga examples. I highly recommend that you read these examples first. If you have questions, write them down and then send nyo sa akin sa email yung questions. Okay. Now, we move on to yung mga examples na i-discuss natin na wala dun sa dun sa examples na diniscuss sa book. Ito ay problem examples. Ito ay problem at the end of chapter 5. Okay, andiyan naman yung problem number. Okay, and ang gagawin natin is solve natin itong mga problems na ito. So, problem 5.4. Okay, this is a biology problem actually. And pag may nakita kayong ganyan, bio, ibig sabihin ito ay more related sa biology. So, injuries to the spinal column. In the treatment of spine injuries, it is often necessary to provide tension along the spinal column to stretch the backbone. Okay, one device for doing this is the Stryker frame. Okay, so yung nakikita niyo sa figure E.5, E5.4a, yan yung Stryker frame. A weight W is attached to the patient, sometimes around the neck collar, katulad ng nakikita niyo sa E5.4b, and friction between the person's body and the bed prevents sliding. Okay, so if the coefficient of static friction between a 78.5 kilogram patient's body and the bed is 0.75, what is the maximum traction force along the spinal column W? A spinal column that W can provide without causing the patient to slide. Okay, so under the conditions of maximum traction, what is the tension in each cable attached to the neck collar? Okay, so ano yung mga alam natin dito? First, ano yung mga known quantities? So merong weight W. Okay. Okay, well, actually weight W is yung pinapahanap. Okay, so merong friction between the person's body and the bed. Okay. And yung friction na yun prevents, friction na yun prevents sliding, Okay, anong ibig sabihin ng prevents sliding na yan? Ang sinasabi niyan is that there's no motion. Okay? Kasi hindi nagsaslide. Okay? So, hindi gumagalaw yung tao. And of course, that makes sense, di ba? Sa tunay na buhay. Lagay ka ng tawag dito ng contraption sa leeg, okay, para ma-stretch yung spinal column. Ayaw mo na gumalaw yung tao. Okay? So, walang motion. Okay? So, this is a problem involving equilibrium. Okay? Ano pa yung mga ibang known quantities? The coefficient of static friction is 0.75 between a 78.5 kilogram patient's body and the bed. Okay, so alam natin ang coefficient of static friction and alam natin yung mass ng tao. So mass is equal to 78.5 kilograms and coefficient of static friction is 0.75. So what is the maximum traction force along the spinal column that W can provide without causing the patient to slide? Okay. So, anong gagawin natin? Sabi natin, identify natin. So now that we know kung ano yung tawag dito, kung ano yung mga objects, kung ano yung mga given, okay, ano naman yung mga forces na involved. So of course, dyan yung weight ng tao. Okay, meron kang normal force dyan. Yan yung force na ina-exert ng bed on the person. Okay, weight is the force exerted by gravity on the person. Then, meron kang tension dyan. Okay, that's the force exerted by the rope on the person. So, tension rope on the patient. Okay. And then, meron kang frictional force. Okay. And sinabi natin, since there's no motion, ibig sabihin this is static frictional force. So, you want to prevent the person from moving. So from A, along the x-axis, you have yung tension. This is the force by the rope on the patient. Okay, minus F sub S. This is the static frictional force. Okay. By the way, bakit ganyan yung mga signs niyan? Okay. So, ito yung positive Y and ito yung ginawa kong positive X. Okay. So, with respect to the positive Y, okay, with respect to the positive X, yung tension ay pointing towards the positive X, so positive siya. At yung friction is pointing towards the negative X-axis, so negative siya. Okay, and since there's no motion, yung sum ng forces along the X-axis ay 0. Okay, so along the Y-axis, you have the normal force. Positive yan kasi nakaturo siya towards the positive X-axis. And yung weight ay negative kasi nakaturo siya towards the negative Y-axis. And this is equal to 0. Okay, so ngayon, by the way, para hindi lang confusing, lalagyan ko ito ng subscript na P kasi may W tayo dito. So ito ay subscript na P. So, anong hinahanap natin dito? Maximum traction force along the spinal column. So that's TR on P. So this is the maximum traction force. Okay, so in this case, from this equation, okay, makikita natin na yung TR on P ay equal sa F sub S. Now we know na yung F sub S, okay, yung frictional force ay related sa normal force through the coefficient of static friction. And then from here, yung normal force ay equal sa weight ng person. So substitute natin dyan. So ang weight ng person is yung mass niya times acceleration due to gravity. So yung TR on P is equal to 0.75 times yung mass ng person, 78.5 kilograms, times 9.8 meters per second squared. So yung maximum traction force is then equal to 577 newtons. Okay, so this is the maximum traction force, okay, exerted on the patient, okay, such that, okay, exerted on along the spinal column, okay. So it's exerted on the patient such that anong tawag dito, mas-stretch yung spinal column niya, okay, without causing the patient to slide off the bed. Okay. Now, to solve for letter B, okay, sabi, under the conditions of maximum traction, which is the tension in each cable attached to the neck collar. Okay, so, ang gagawin natin ngayon is i-identify natin yung mga forces involved, okay, that is acting on the neck collar. Now, dito you have tension, okay, which is acting in this direction. Tawagin natin itong T1. There's another tension here kasi dalawa yung cable, so T2. Okay, and then, of course, yung tawag dito, yung, well, to put it like this, kaya hindi na detach yung head kasi yung body is pulling the head towards it. Pero kaya hindi nag-slide yung body kasi may friction. Okay? So, ang pwede natin sabihin na through Newton's third law of motion, itong force na ito is the static frictional force. Okay? So, kaya hindi gumagalaw yung buong object na yan, yung patient. Okay? Pag hinihila yung dalawang strings na yan, ay dahil merong frictional force. Okay? So, then the drawing natin ngayon yung coordinate system. Okay, so let's choose this to be positive y, and then choose this to be positive x. Okay. Extend ko ng konti yung positive y para mas klaro. Okay, so, okay, now, we're going to do a little bit of trigonometry here. Okay. Okay, so, ang gagawin natin is punta tayo sa next page. Okay, and then mag-sum tayo ng forces. So, on the head, gamitin natin yung second law of Newton. So, pag nag-sum tayo ng forces along the x-axis, anong meron? T1. Okay. So, T1, tawag dito, is equal to, so yung component ng T1 along the, tawag dito, x-axis is this. Okay. So, yan yung component ng T1 along the x-axis. If this is 65 degrees, then that means that this component is T1 cosine 65 degrees. Diba? Kasi this is a right triangle. Yan. This is adjacent, hypotenuse, and sorry, this is adjacent and this is the hypotenuse. So cosine 65 degrees. Okay. What about T2? Okay, lagay muna natin, sorry. Lagay muna natin yung T1 cosine 65 degrees yan. Oh, and by the way, positive siya kasi it's pointing towards the positive x-axis. Next. What about itong T2? So yung T2 ay, okay, ito yung nakaturo dyan. So yung component niya okay, is this. Along the x-axis. So it's along the negative x-axis na. Okay. And then we have a right triangle here. Okay. So ibig sabihin, if this is hypotenuse, this is adjacent, then and this is the angle 65 degrees, then yung component along the x-axis is T2 cosine 65 degrees. And negative yan kasi it's pointing towards the negative x-axis. Okay, now you might ask, sabi nyo, sir, before, dapat parating referred yung forces with respect to the positive x-axis. And that's true. So dapat ang angle na gagamitin dito is actually 90 degrees plus 25 degrees. Diba? Kasi this is 90 minus 65. Diba? Okay, which is 25 degrees. So this is 135 degrees. Now you can get a calculator, tignan niyo yung cosine 135 degrees, and you will see that it's equal to negative cosine 65 degrees. Okay? So that's why we can also use trigonometry here kasi meron tayong nakitang triangle. Okay? And it will still work because of this property. So yung second force na ilalagay natin dito ngayon is minus T2 cosine 65 degrees. Now, since this is in equilibrium, yung net force is 0. Okay. Ang bibigay sa atin ito is T1, okay, cosine 65 degrees ay equal sa T2 cosine 65 degrees. So this cancels out, which means T1 is equal to T2 is equal to T, yung tension. Okay? So this is the tension in each cable. Okay. Now, along the y-axis, anong meron? So you have yung component ng T1 along the y-axis. And this is basically yung opposite side. So yan ay T1 sine 65 degrees. Okay, so, or T, di ba? T sine 65 degrees. And then you also have yung component ng T2 along the y-axis, okay, which is this one. So that's also T2 sine 65 degrees. Pero T na lang yun, di ba? Kasi pareho lang naman yung T1 at saka yung T2. So plus T sine 65 degrees. Then you have yung frictional force, okay, na directed downward. Okay. So that's tawag dito minus Fs is equal to 0. Again, you might argue na hindi ba dapat 270 degrees? Maglalagay tayo ng angle na 270 degrees. Kasi with respect to the positive x-axis, so dapat Fs, tawag dito, sine 270 degrees. Diba? Kasi y component siya. Pero makikita nyo na ang sine 270 degrees is just equal to negative 1, okay, from trigonometry. So this becomes negative f sub s. At yun yung nilagay natin dyan. Okay, so we have 2t sine 65 degrees is equal to f sub s. Now, f sub s is mu sub s to n. Okay. And nakita na natin yung normal force kanina, mu sub s mg. So yung t ngayon dito is mu sub s mg over 2 times divided by 2 times sine 65 degrees. So 0.75 times 78.5 kilograms times 9.8 meters per second squared divided by 2 times sine 65 degrees. So yung tension is 318 newtons in each cable. Okay, so yan yung tension in each cable. Okay, so I hope na clear yung explanation at yung solution. Okay. And now we can go to the next problem. So the next problem we have another bio problem. Okay, so an astronaut is inside, an astronaut is inside a 2.25 times 10 to the 6 kilogram rocket that is blasting off vertically from the launch pad. You want this rocket to reach the speed of sound, 331 meters per second, as quickly as possible. But astronauts are in danger of blacking out at an acceleration greater than 4g. A. What's the maximum initial thrust this rocket's engine can have, but just barely avoid blackout? And start with the free body diagram of the rocket. And B, what force, in terms of the astronaut's weight, does the rocket exert on her? Start with the free body diagram of the astronaut and see what is the shortest time it can take the rocket to reach the speed of sound. Okay, so let's begin by identifying kung ano yung mga known quantities. We have the mass of the rocket. Okay, mr, mass of the rocket. 2.25 times 10 to the 6 kilograms. Okay, gusto niyo ma-reach yung speed of sound, okay, as quickly as possible. Okay, and it blasts off vertically. So may mga hidden na dito na. So yung initial velocity niya actually is 0 kasi you start from rest. Pero yung final velocity niya is 331 meters per second. Okay, and if there's this given if the acceleration is greater than or equal to 4g or greater than 4g, but then you're at risk of the astronaut is in danger of blacking out. Okay. Okay. So, meron pa bang iba? Okay, so wala na. Okay, so, now, drawing muna tayo ng rocket. So, if we can do that here. Okay, so, again, hindi kailangan maganda yung drawing ninyo. Okay, then, of course, we put a Cartesian coordinate system here, there. Okay. So, and then identify natin yung forces acting on the rocket. Okay, so ano yung mga forces acting on the rocket? So, syempre yung thrust force. Okay, so, okay, and then yung weight ng rocket. Okay, and meron pa ba? Wala na. So, if we sum all the forces along the y-axis, wala tayong forces along the x-axis. Okay, then we have yung thrust force minus yung weight ng rocket. At ano yung net motion niya? Ang net motion niya dapat is mass times mass of the rocket, okay, times yung acceleration. Ano tong acceleration ito? Okay, so this must be greater than 4g. Okay, so Ft minus Wr must be greater than 4mrg. Okay, your acceleration must be greater than 4g. Okay, tawag dito. Or actually less than pala, para hindi siya mag-blackout, di ba? Okay, so dapat less than. Of 4mrg. Okay, so we can now solve for Ft. So this is less than Wr, pero ang Wr is yung mass ng rocket. So mass ng rocket times acceleration due to gravity plus 4mrg. So this is equal to 5mrg. So yung thrust force must be less than 5mrg. Okay, para hindi mag-blackout yung tao. Mass of the rocket is 2.25 times 10 to the 5 into the 6 kilograms times 9.8 meters per second squared. So yung thrust force must be less than 1.10 times 10 to the 6 newtons or 1.10 mega newtons. Okay, so that's letter A. Letter B, what force in terms of the astronaut's weight, W, does the rocket exert on her? So we again draw a free body diagram. So, syempre may upuan yung astronaut, and then ito yung astronaut, nakaupo siya dyan. Okay, dyan yung paa niya. Okay, so, yeah. So, sitting comfortably siya dyan, hopefully. So, yun yung kanyang helmet. Okay. So, ano-ano yung forces acting on the astronaut? Now, yung astronaut na yan is being pushed by the chair. So, merong normal force na in-exert. So, the normal force is the force exerted on the astronaut by the chair. Now, the chair is part of the rocket. But then you have yung weight ng astronaut. Meron pa bang ibang forces dito na involved? So, wala na. So, now, we can write, okay, sum ng forces along the y-axis. Okay, if we choose this to be positive y, sum ng forces along the y-axis is yung normal force, okay, minus yung weight, equals sa mass ng astronaut times yung kanyang acceleration. Pero ano ba yung acceleration ano ba acceleration niya? Of course, it's the same acceleration as the rocket. So 4g. Okay, it must be less than 4g. Okay, so 4 ma. Okay, 4 mag. Sige na nga, equals. Anong lagyan natin dyan? Let's assume na exactly 4g, 4mg, exactly 4g yung acceleration. Okay, just before him blacking out. Now, ano ba tong mag na to? Yan yung kanyang weight. So, n minus w is equal to 4. Ito, yan yung kanyang weight, di ba? So, this is n equals 5w. So, in terms of yung weight ng astronaut, yung force, so yung normal force ay equals sa 5 times sa weight ng astronaut. Okay, okay, as is given. Okay, so weight of the astronaut. Okay. Now for letter C, ano daw yung shortest time that it can take for the rocket to reach the speed of sound? So, oops. Wait. Hindi na burahin natin yan. Sadali lang. Okay. So, what is the shortest time it can take the rocket to reach the speed of sound? So, kanina in-identify na natin na given yung final speed niya na 331 meters per second. And syempre mag-start siya from rest. Okay. Tapos, alam din natin yung acceleration niya. Let's say na yung acceleration niya is 4g just before na mag-blackout siya. Okay, and so ibig sabihin pwede nating makompute yung time using yung kinematic na equations. Knowing yung final velocity, initial velocity, at saka yung acceleration, okay, we can use this equation v is equal to v naught plus a times t. And since we're solving for time, then v minus v naught over a. So v is, yung final velocity niya is 331 meters per second. Yung initial velocity niya is 0, and yung acceleration niya is 4g, so 9.8 meters per second squared. So yung time it takes para mag-accelerate siya from 0 to 331 meters per second is 8.44 seconds. Okay. Okay. So, next question. Okay. So, dito sa problem na ito, may nilalower na dalawang boxes. Okay. One on top of the other. Down a ramp by pulling on a rope parallel to the surface of the ramp. Both boxes move together at constant speed of 15.0 centimeters per second. The coefficient of static friction between the two boxes, coefficient of kinetic friction between the ramp, okay, and the lower box, so dito, okay, is 0.44, and the coefficient of static friction between the two boxes is 0.8. Okay, what force do you need to exert? To accomplish this? And letter B, what are the magnitude and direction of the friction force on the upper box? Okay. So, first of all, tignan natin kung ano yung mga given. So, meron tayong constant speed. So, the boxes move together at a constant speed. So, anong implication yan? Dahil constant yung speed, yung acceleration, okay, along that axis, okay, kung saan nagmo-move yung boxes ay 0. Okay? Since constant yung kanyang speed. What else? Yung angle of inclination. So let's say na ito yung angle theta. So from there, we have ito yung opposite at saka adjacent. So we can use tangent. So tangent inverse ng opposite over adjacent. Okay, ay yung theta. So this gives us 27.8 degrees. Now, yung mass, yung total mass dito is 48.0 kilograms plus 32.0 kilograms or 80 kilograms. Okay, so now let's answer letter A. Sorry, meron pa ibang given. Yung frictional force, okay, between the ramp and the lower box, and static frictional force between the two boxes is 0.8. Okay, so yeah. Anong force na kailangan para pull yung box? So, ngayon, itong tao na ito ay nag-a-apply ng force F, sabihin natin. Diyan. Yung pag-apply niya ng force is such that binubuhat niya both grades. So, we can consider this as one system. Okay, as one object. Okay, kung ano man nangyayari between each crate, independent na yun. And independent na yun from this, and yun yung gagamitin natin actually na concept sa letter B. But for now, alam natin na hinihila ng tao yung dalawang masses na yun. So yung total mass yung hinihila niya. So yung in-exert yung force ay dahil dun sa dalawang masses na yun. Okay. Tapos, syempre, merong weight. Right? Yung weight ng dalawang masses. So, capital M times G. And then yung normal force. Okay? Na in-exert ng surface on this whole system. Okay? Ano pa? Merong friction. Diba? So, anong direction ngayon yung friction? Ang direction ng friction ay dito. Okay. FK. Bakit? Kasi yung motion, di ba, ay pababa. Sabi dito, you are lowering two boxes. Okay. So yung direction ng friction ay towards the right. Ngayon, gagawa tayo ng coordinate system. Okay. So ito yung positive X, ito yung positive Y. Okay. Again, rotated siya kasi we have three forces, F sub K, at saka normal force, okay, that are already on the axis. Okay. Yung mg, kailangan na natin kunin yung components. Okay. Okay, so let's use Newton's second law of motion. So sum ng forces along the x-axis, okay, ay equal sa yung force ng paghila niya plus yung kinetic frictional force, okay, minus yung component ng weight along the x-axis. So ito yung component niya along the x-axis. Ito yung right triangle natin. Okay. Etong length na ito is yung component along the x-axis. So, kung ito yung angle na theta, okay, okay, so, ibig sabihin, if I draw a line here, ito yung angle na theta. Ito ay 90, so this is 90 minus theta, right? Ito ay 90, so this is theta. Okay, so yung angle na to is theta. So, ibig sabihin, ito ay opposite. So, mg sine theta. So, and since towards the negative x-axis siya nakaturo, so minus sine dyan. So, mgm minus mg sine theta. And constant yung kanyang speed, so yung acceleration along the x-axis is 0. So, in equilibrium ito. So, 0. 0 yung sagot siya. So, we have f is equal to mg sine theta minus f sub k. Okay, and alam natin na yung f sub k is just equal to mu sub k times yung normal force. Okay, so yung normal force na yan. Okay. Now, along the y-axis, we have yung normal force, okay, along the y-axis, and then yung component ng weight along the y-axis, which is this one. And since we established na ito yung theta, so adjacent siya dun sa right triangle, so that's cosine. Okay, so, and then nakaturo siya sa negative x-axis, so that's minus mg cosine theta. And wala ka namang motion along the y-axis, wala acceleration, walang movement along the y-axis, so that's equal to 0. The net motion, net force is equal to 0. So n is equal to mg cosine theta. So now, dapat ito ay minus sine. Okay, so now I can plug this in there. Okay, and I get f is equal to mg sine theta minus mu sub k mg cosine theta, or mg sine theta minus mu sub k cosine theta. F. Okay, and if we plug in the known quantities, so 80 kilograms times 9.8 meters per second squared, and sine theta. Sine of theta is 27.8 degrees minus mu sub k 0.444 times cosine ng 27.8 degrees. So F is equal to 57.1 newtons. Okay, so medyo mababa lang yung force, okay, na ginagamit niya. Okay, para hilain or i-lower down yung dalawang boxes. So letter B, what are the magnitude and direction of the friction force on the upper box? So, okay. Ang isip ko kung anong gagawin natin dito ngayon. Ang dami ko nang nag-drawing. Anyway, dito na lang tayo sa next page. Next page. Okay, so ang gawin natin is i-drawing lang natin yung 32 kilogram na box. Ito yung 48 kilogram na box. And then ito yung surface. Okay. So on the 32 kilogram na box, ano yung mga forces na involved? First, okay, hindi dyan in-exert yung pulling force. Pero hindi siya nalalaglag dahil sa frictional force, di ba? Kung malalaglag siya in that direction. So ibig sabihin yung friction is towards this direction. And static frictional force siya. Okay? Kasi hindi nag-move yung boxes relative to each other. Of course, dyan yung weight ng 32 kilogram box. So 32, lagay ko na lang dyan 32. Or siguro lagay ko 32G. Okay. 32G. Then of course, yung normal force. Yung normal force dito is the force exerted by the 48 kilogram box on the 32 kilogram box. Okay. So meron pa bang ibang forces? Okay. Kung wala na, then we draw yung Cartesian coordinate system. So plus x plus y. So along the x, we use Newton's second law. So along the x-axis, we have yung frictional force. Tapos, if this is angle theta, okay, then this is angle theta. Nagawa na natin yan. Na-derive natin yan sa previous na ano. Okay, so previous na, sa letter A, ito yung component, okay, nitong vector na ito dito sa x-axis. So that's minus 32 g sine theta. Okay, and equal yan sa 0 kasi hindi gumagalaw hindi nagsaslide yung 32 kilogram box. So F sub S is equal to 32 g sine theta. So along the y-axis, you have yung normal force, okay, which is pointed upward. Okay, and then yung component ng weight along the y-axis, which is this one. Okay, so that's 32g. So minus 32g cosine theta. And walang motion along the y-axis, so 0 yan. So yung normal force is equal to 32g cosine theta. Okay, so F sub S, ang hinahanap dito ay yung magnitude and direction, the frictional force. Yung direction na established na natin. So yung magnitude na lang. So this is equal to 32 kilograms times 9.8 meters per second squared times sine ng 27.8 degrees. So yung frictional force would then be equal to 146 newtons. Okay. Okay. So, yan yung ano dyan, yung solution dyan. Okay. Now, I've provided another solution, alternative solution, okay, and try to read it na lang dun sa slides. Ano yung alternative solution? Alternative solution is that I treated the boxes individually. So, tinignan ko yung forces involved on this box, and then tinignan ko yung forces involved on this box. And then from there, I was able to derive this same equation. Okay, so regardless on whether we treat this as a whole system or as individual boxes, okay, then you will still end up with the same result, provided na sinunod niyo yung physics principles dito. Okay. Now let's go to this problem. So in this problem, we have two masses. Okay, yung mass M1 ay hinihila ng pulley papataas at yung mass M2 yung humihila dun sa mass M1 at pababa yung motion ng M2. Okay, so what must be the mass M2 of the hanging block capable to descend 12 meters in the first 3 seconds after the system is released from rest? So ano yung mga given quantities dito? First, you have M1 equals 20 kilograms. Okay, yung angle na alpha is 53.1 degrees. M2, yun yung pinapahanap. You have kinetic frictional force, which is 0.40. That's the friction that corresponds to the friction between this surface and M1. Okay, and nagde-descend, okay, yung object. So nagde-descend, so may M2 is moving downward. Okay, so M2 is moving downward, which means M1 is moving in this direction. Okay, and so the essential the distance of 12 meters in the first 3 seconds after the system is released from rest. So yung V naught is 0. Okay, and then yung displacement niya, so y minus y naught, if this is, okay, so sabihin natin ito plus y. So this is y and then y naught. So y naught is 0, so yung y is equal to 12 meters. then 12 meters. Okay, and yung time is 3 seconds. Okay, so tignan natin ngayon dito individually yung forces. Tignan natin yung forces individually on each box. So on box M1, we have, ano yung mga forces na involved dyan? Okay, so, oops. Ay. Of course, yung weight, hindi nawawala. M1G, yung force due to the rope, so that's the tension, and then yung normal force. Tawagin natin itong N, or kahit N lang kasi wala namang normal force yung isang. So, N. And then, of course, mayroong friction. Since ang motion is in that direction, ang frictional force is in this direction. And this is kinetic frictional force. So when we sum the forces along the x-axis, we have yung tension. Okay, sorry, lagyan natin ng coordinate system. Plus x and then plus y. Okay, and this is, if this is angle alpha, then this is also angle alpha. It's exactly the same system as yung tinignan natin before, at least geometrically. Okay, so ibig sabihin yung x component ng weight is sine alpha. Okay, so we also have minus fk minus m1g sine alpha. And nakita natin, sinabi dito na nag-accelerate siya. So it descends, and then it's released from rest and descends 12 meters. So ibig sabihin meron siya acceleration, m1a. Okay, so yung tension dito is equal to fk plus m1g sine alpha plus m1a. Okay. Now, along the y-axis, it doesn't give us much. So we just have the normal force minus m1g, yung component ng weight along the y-axis. And zero yan kasi wala kang motion. Okay, wala kang motion along the, wala acceleration along the y-axis. Okay, so yan lang yung bibigay sa atin ito. Now, of course, yung Fk is related to the normal force times the coefficient of friction. So from here, we get n is equal to m1g cosine alpha. So we have m1g cosine alpha plus m1g sine alpha plus m1a. So equal to m1 a plus m1 g m1g m1g sine alpha plus uk cosine alpha. Yan yung t. Okay, tapos on M2, yung naman natin on box M2, anong mga forces involved dito? So we have yung tension, and then you have yung weight, M2G. Now, itong tension na ito at saka yung tension na yan ay equal sa isa't isa because of third law of Newton. Okay, so along the y-axis, wala ka namang forces. Along the x-axis, you have P minus M2G. At ano yung acceleration niya? Ang acceleration niya is downward. Okay, and if we choose a, tawag dito, if we choose an axis, okay, ito yung positive y-axis natin, ibig sabihin yung acceleration niya will be negative. So negative M1 A. So yung tension dito is equal to M2G minus M1A. And of course, from third law nga ni Newton, itong tension na ito, So yung tension na yan ay pareho sa tension na ito. So pwede natin equate ito at saka ito sa isa't isa. Sorry. M2. M2 yan. So that will be M2G minus A. And M2 ang hinahanap natin, right? So M2 ang hinahanap natin. So M2 is actually M1A plus M1G sine alpha plus mu K cosine alpha over G minus A. So if we rewrite that M2 M1A plus M1G times sine alpha plus mu K cosine alpha over A minus G. Then we have M1 is 20 kilograms times A. Okay, yung A hindi pa pala natin solve. Okay. So, ano ang ngayon ang acceleration? So, ang sabi, nag-move siya. Okay, since ang pinili natin doon is plus y, so dito siya nanggaling. So, y not, dito siya nag-end up 12 meters. Okay, yun ay 0. And yung time na tinravel dito is 3 seconds. Then we can use y equals y naught plus v naught y t. Okay, plus 1/2 a y t squared. Okay. Now, take note, hindi natin ni-replace to ng negative g kasi hindi to free fall. This is not an example of free falling motion. In fact, connected yung block mo through a rope. Okay. So hindi mo pwedeng assume na yung AY automatic negative G kasi hindi free fall to. So of course this is 0. The initial velocity is 0. So we can now solve for the acceleration. So acceleration is equal to 2y over t squared. So 2 times 12 meters, okay, times 3 seconds squared. So the acceleration is positive 2.67 meters per second squared. This is G minus A minus G pala, tama. So M2 is equal ngayon sa 20 kilograms times 2.67 meters per second squared plus, kailangan natin ng space, 20 kilograms times 9.8 meters per second squared times sine ng 53.1 degrees plus 0.40 times cosine ng 53.1 degrees all over. Sorry, negative plus. So G minus A. Negative 2.67 meters per second squared plus 9.8 meters per second squared. So M2. Tumakuha natin M2 ngayon dito is 36 kilograms. Okay, 36 kilograms. Okay. And now we move on to the final problem. Okay, so for the final problem, we have this book, okay, na sinalpak sa vertical wall. Ang mass ng book is 5 kilograms. You apply constant force F to the book. So nag-apply ka ng force na paakyat at an angle. The force is 96 newtons and the force is at an angle of 60 degrees above the horizontal. So the coefficient of kinetic friction between the book and the wall is 0.300. If the book is initially at rest, what is its speed after it has traveled 0.4 meters up the wall? Okay, so anong alam natin? Mass na 5 kilograms. Yung force was 96 newtons. Yung angle na 60 degrees above the horizontal. Coefficient of kinetic friction. Okay, so sulat natin lahat yun. Mass is 5 kilograms. Okay, yung force is 96 newtons. Yung angle ng force, yung direction, is 60 degrees above the horizontal. Coefficient of kinetic friction is 0.300. The book is also initially at rest. So B naught is equal to 0. What is its speed after it has traveled 4.4 meters up the wall? So nag-travel siya 0.4 meters up the wall. So lagay natin yung original position niya as y naught. So ibig sabihin yung distance na tinabad niya is 0.400 meters. Okay. And ang hinahanap is yung kanyang speed. So next step is to identify all the forces acting on the book. So syempre nandiyan na yung force F. I-drawing ko dito ulit. Drawing muna ako ng Cartesian coordinate system. Plus y plus x. Oops. Okay. So force F at an angle of 60 degrees. Okay. And yung weight ng book, okay, hindi nawawala yan. So mg. Okay. And yung friction. Okay. So paakyat yung motion niya. So yung friction ay pababa. Okay. So yung frictional force ay pababa. At ito ay kinetic frictional force. And then yung book ay nakalapat on a wall. So makes yung normal force. Okay, dyan sa direction. Okay. So now that we have identified all the forces, now we can use Newton's second law of motion. So along the x-axis, we have normal force minus yung component ng F. Okay, along the x-axis. Ito yung component niya along the x-axis. Okay, meron tayong right triangle dito. So this is angle, adjacent, hypotenuse. So we have a cosine. So minus F cosine 60 degrees. Okay. Along this axis, along the x-axis, there's no motion. Diba? Kasi yung motion is the book is accelerating upward. Pero walang acceleration along the x-axis. So this is 0. So ibig sabihin, n is equal to f cosine 60 degrees. Along the y-axis, we have f sine 60 degrees. Yan yung component no force, okay, along the y-axis. Okay. So ito rin yun sa right triangle. Opposite siya ng angle. So ibig sabihin sine 60 siya. And nakaturo siya paakyat sa positive y-axis. So positive yung kanyang sine. Minus yung frictional force and then minus yung weight. Kasi both of them are pointing downward. Equal ngayon to sa mass times acceleration. Meron itong acceleration na yung object dito. Okay, so acceleration is positive kasi nagmo-move siya upward. It is increasing speed upward. So now we can solve for the acceleration. So acceleration is equal to f sine 60 degrees minus yung fk is mu sub k times n. So ito ay f cosine 60 degrees minus mg all over m. Okay, so now we write the acceleration to be equal to 96 newtons times sine 60 degrees minus 0.3 times cosine ng 60 degrees. Okay, minus 5 kilograms times 9.8 meters per second squared all over 5 kilograms. So the acceleration dito is 3.95 meters per second squared. Okay, and it's positive kasi nga upward moving siya. So if we consider ito, so nag-accelerate ngayon siya at an acceleration of 3.95 meters per second squared. And it starts from rest to a speed, to some speed na hinahanap natin. And yung distance from here, which is y naught, to here, which is 4.4 meters, is, 0.4 meters. Okay, and it starts from rest, so yung v naught y is, yung v naught is also 0. Okay, so we can use the kinematic equations. So we have the final velocity squared minus yung initial velocity, or equals sa initial velocity, plus 2ay minus y naught. Okay, yung initial velocity is 0, 2 times yung acceleration is 3.95 meters per second squared, and then yung final position is 0.4 meters, yung initial niya is 0. So if we take the square root of that, then we have Vy is equal to 1.78 meters per second. Okay. So about 2 meters. So kung 2 meters, parang dalawang arm's length, di ba? In 1 second. So ganun kabilis yung pag-slide up nung okay. So I hope na meron kayong na tawag dito, additional information, o additional tawag dito, examples. May napulot kayo dito sa mga additional examples na ito. Okay, in using Newton's laws of motion on top of yung mga examples na nandun sa book. Okay, don't forget, read the examples first na nandun sa book before nyo puntahan itong mga examples na ito. And if you have questions, okay, just don't hesitate to ask. Thank you, and see you next meeting.